Good morning, everybody. My name is Sam Russell, and I will be discussing the housing crisis of 2008. Imagine waking up one morning to a news segment about a mortgage bank who had just went out of business due to bankruptcy. This was just the beginning for what was long overdue in the American economy. Throughout years, large banks twisted the consumer market, handing out loans and mortgages to anyone who asked for one. Credit checks were not in place, background checks were also not in place, and on top of that, big banks didn't even look at the income or the employment status of many, many applicants. These were just considered unnecessary at the time. Due to the expansion of loans and mortgages, many people considered the housing market to be one of the strongest sectors in the American economy. However, they were wrong. The housing market had a humongous bubble in it in which all of these loans and all of these mortgages were propped up on these and backed by these large corporations who didn't have the money to push these loans through to their potential. Basically, these people who were getting these loans and these mortgages did not have the credit status, did not have the money, and were not financially stable to own these homes and to have these mortgages. However, the big banks, the little banks, everybody didn't care because of the money that was being generated due to handing out all these loans. The large interest rates kept these businesses flourishing and drowned the American economy more and more every day it happened. With banks ranking in millions and sometimes billions of dollars, the Americans finding happiness in buying homes, the economy was considered the strongest part of America at this time. However, the first couple of banks to fall created a domino effect, where every bank after also began to feel the hardships of what they created. And I'm not talking about small businesses dying, I'm talking about large corporations going under. The housing crisis shaped my beliefs of the economy and how fragile our financial world can be if it is not secured and is not have any safety net to catch our fall. The housing crisis directly affects me in two ways. Through the stress that it put on my family and as my own stock trader. To begin, I like to talk about my family. They were blindsided during this crisis. Thankfully, my mother and father had a very stable job in which they did not lose their positions in their jobs, which kept them coming in with a healthy income throughout these hardful times. However, other parts of my family were not as fortunate, in which some of them lost their homes, their jobs, and could not support themselves or the rest of their families. However, my family was not the only family affected. In fact, multiple families, thousands of and possibly millions of families were negatively affected in even worse ways than what my family was affected. In fact, American families all over the country were not only destroyed, but most families were unable to care for their own children. Now to move on to as a stock trader. As a stock trader, I buy and sell stocks. Sometimes it takes me days to make those transactions, sometimes seconds. The housing crisis allowed me to show myself how important it is to not manipulate the market. Through the housing crisis, I realized that these stocks and these bonds need to be protected by us, not exploited. The reason for this is because by exploiting these stocks, we are negatively affecting the everyday worker in the economy. Although I may make more money, I may make $2 million opposed to $1 million, the fall of the economy doesn't affect me due to my large amounts of money. However, the everyday consumer, the everyday worker, will be directly affected because they are the ones who will lose their jobs, who do not have the money to support themselves and their family during those types of crises. This is why I believe that not only do I need to protect these stocks and these bonds, I need to protect the people from harmful people who may attempt to manipulate and deceive the stockholders and shares and mortgages and people of that sort. Overall, I believe the housing crisis directly affected me and shaped my thoughts on the world and on the economy. Overall, I just would like you guys to think of one thing, and is next time that you make a decision, just think about the repercussions, not how they affect you, but also the people around you and the less fortunate, who will also be impacted. It's just as hard, if not worse. Thank you.